Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Kate. You're all probably aware of me by now. Do you know what I have to say at the start of this, right? I watch back these videos that I record for this channel and I think, bloody hell, Kate, make a bit more effort. But I do these quite off the cuff, guys, right? So in terms of looks, this is just me. This is what I'm like when I work at home. So apologies in advance if I look a bit like a homeless person. So I know I'm doing the 4-part series at the moment, but to break that up, I wanted to add in a new business development video, and I'll tell you why. I check the analytics on my channel a lot, and the business development videos at the moment are performing really well and getting a lot of views. So obviously it's a subject that people want to hear about. I thought it would be good to do a recap or a new rejuvenated version of the business development tips and tricks video that I did. I think it might have even been 2 years ago now. I'm not too sure. It was at least the beginning of last year, but I think it might be longer. So that's obviously still relevant, but I wanted to give some updated tips, in particular around areas that I've worked very closely with the people I'm training at the moment. Really hot topics, things I've seen really work that I think could add a lot of value, whether you're new to business development or whether you're further down the line and more experienced. I'm going to make it really simple, really straightforward and condensed. You don't need to be sitting here for 20 minutes to get what you need. I'm going to give you five top tips that you can implement straight away to help your business development, get more conversations, get more meetings, and ultimately get more clients. So let's get started. Number one, keep forgetting to do that. One of the things I've done a lot with consultants recently, which has helped a lot, is we've created a client avatar. So this is my first tip. Go and do the same thing. So you might be thinking, what the fuck is a client avatar, Kate? Well, I'm going to tell you, so don't worry. So what I like to do is, actually, I can probably show you this on my whiteboard. Let's just do one thing. Let's see if this will work. I've never done this before. This is a new thing I'm doing in a video, but let's give it a go because it might be quite good to create a visual around this. So what I would do if I was you is draw on a piece of paper something that represents a client. Now, I'm really shit at art, so I'm going to apologise in advance, but I normally just draw a stick man or woman. So let's just draw said client. Do you know what? I don't know if you can see that. Nah, this ain't going to work. I ditched that idea pretty quickly because you couldn't even see the person on the whiteboard. Anyway, what I would do is get a piece of paper, draw something that represents your client. So it could just be a stick man or woman, or it could be anything, right? And start creating almost a bit of a spider diagram. What you want to do is think, who is my client? What's their demographic? What are their personality traits usually? How do they act? What kind of role are they in? Basically, you're trying to get into the mind of the client. If there's a team of you working the same sector, I would say do it together because that can work really, really well. Start writing those things down. So it could be, okay, so they're normally quite reserved initially. They're really busy in their jobs. That'd be another point. Not comfortable on the phone. Care about quality. You know, like all these different things. So you write it all down, engineering background, you know, all those things. And you've got this avatar, this client demographic, this client persona nailed down on paper. Why we do this and why it's beneficial is that then helps us get into the client's mind more. All the time when we're doing business development, we start to get sucked into doing the things that we like doing, the approaches we feel comfortable with. Well, I'd like to be contacted by phone, so I'm going to ring people. Or I'd prefer a LinkedIn message, so I'm going to do that. It doesn't matter what you want. It's about what the client wants and needs. And actually, the 4-part series that I'm doing, that I've interrupted with this video, really listen and pay attention because this will help you create a more specific avatar. It will help you think about, right, what do I need to do to get this client to like me, to build a relationship with them, to understand them at a deeper level. This will help you do that. I would recommend that this is one of the first things that you get to do because it's going to help you switch off from what I want and what I think the client wants to actually switching to the other side of it, which is what does my client need and how am I going to adapt to be what I need to be for them. Tip number 2, before you make any business development call or put an email together or a LinkedIn message, a voice note, whatever you're going to do, before you go hell for leather, Write down 3 objectives that you want to achieve in that call or in that message, whatever it is. I've seen a lot recently that business development is seen as a task, a tick box exercise. Let's just get it done. Let me make those calls. Yep, done my BD. And actually what happens is, if we do end up getting to speak to somebody, we're not making the most of that interaction. We're not actually getting out of it what we truly wanted to, what we really need to. And that can mean it's a wasted activity. That moment we've got with that client is key. We might be the only chance we get to speak to them. So we need to utilize it. This will help you slow things down, really make you think about what you want and need to achieve. I've seen it work so well. Now, what I would also recommend you do, this is a bonus tip, when you finish the call or you've sent the email and got a response, put a tick next to the objectives that you've achieved. It will mean that you're then not overthinking what you've done, being too critical. If you've ticked off one objective, guys, I see that as a success. Great, I've got a little bit more than I had before I went into that call or I sent that message. That is a really good way for you to reflect and celebrate the small wins, not just thinking about what you didn't do. Because business development, I've said this before, it's a long game. You need to be celebrating the short baby steps you're taking as well, because they are getting you to the end goal. Tip number 3, you've got to prepare for objections. You're going to get them, but you need to call them objections, not rejections. I had a sales meeting this morning with some consultants on my growth program, and one of the consultants said that she's getting a lot that clients are saying they're not hiring at the moment, and she's taking that as a rejection, and that is gospel, that's truth. Now, a lot of the time, the rejection we get isn't a rejection, it's an objection. It's a not right now, or I'm too busy to speak to you, or I don't trust you yet. It's not actually the truth. So if you prepare for what those objections might be, you can then have some ideas about how you might handle them. Don't just take that as the truth. I'm going to do a video around handling objections soon, guys, a really focused video. You definitely need to probe around them, be inquisitive, question around it, because you then may get them talking, get them to open up. Remember as well that you are the recruitment expert, they are not. So it might be that they think they're not needing to hire at the moment, but actually, you know, with your industry, and I'm just making this up, that the run up to Christmas can be hectic and they do need to start thinking about it now. But they haven't thought about that because they don't live in the recruitment world. We do. That is our job, to be a consultant and help educate them around that. So don't take it as rejection, be prepared for objections and think about how you might probe around it and handle it, so you're not caught off guard and just end the call or the conversation. Tip number 4, please, please, please focus on the relationship. I can't say enough, and I've probably said it a million times in the videos, relationship building is so important with business development and the candidate side, but we're making this very much about business development. Ultimately, they are going to choose to work with you, not because of the agency you work with and the brand name, it's because of you as a person, because they like you, because they trust you, because they just feel like they get on and you're pleasant to deal with. So if you don't focus on that relationship early on, when you're making that initial outreach, it's going to take you even longer to win that client over. When you are talking to them, build rapport, have a nice chat with them. It doesn't need to be robotic and all about the sales and all about the recruitment focused questioning. Show that you're a real person. People love it, trust me. My last tip number 5, make sure that your questions have purpose, have intent. They need to be questions that show the client that you know your shit and that you mean business in terms of learning about them and fostering a partnership. We can be drawn to ask initially questions like, how do you normally recruit? What terms do you normally work to? How many people do you normally hire? Very much around, I'm asking you questions because I want to sell to you. And we need to know those things, but what I'm interested in when I'm speaking to clients is questioning around things like, tell me about the service providers. What are their needs? What type of people tend to work well with the service providers? How many staff do you need per service provider? What works well? What type of person fits well with the permanent members of staff if you do temp, for example? How are you feeling at the moment? Especially emotive questions that show you care, but you can empathise against, and you can really get underneath the skin of what these managers are going through. Because if they are stressed and tired and overworked and fed up, they haven't got time to do recruitment, we can really hone in on that. Asking questions that go outside of this is all about me and what I want to know, and show, look, I want to learn about you and understand your business or your home or your warehouse or whatever it is, they start to see that we're breaking the norm of what a recruiter is like. These questions are very useful. They help you find the right candidates, understand the environment that these people are going to be working in. Of course they do, but they also show the client that you give a shit. So give all of these tips a go. I'm always really interested to hear how you're getting on. So please do keep connecting with me on LinkedIn, following me on Instagram, YouTube, because I'm posting shorts as well as my LinkedIn live show and these videos. Definitely let me know how you're getting on. And if you have any questions at all, I'm always happy to answer them. So please fire away. Today's video has been a short and sweet one. I've really enjoyed it. I always enjoy the BD videos. Keep watching the 4-part series that I'm currently in because it's going to help you with everything that we've talked about today. Keep tuning in. Remember to subscribe so you get notifications about all my future videos. See you soon, guys. Bye.